morning, everyone. This is the 6th time I've tried to make this video. For some reason, I can only get time in my car between work and kids and home. It's hard to film sometimes, so if I'm not making eye contact, that's because I'm trying to be a safe driver, but still get this ghost story out for you guys like I said I would. And in a previous video, I said that I was going to speak on my dad's house and going over there and cleansing. Sorry if it's bumpy. The roads in Las Vegas suck. If you know anything about Las Vegas, roads pretty much suck here. So if it's shaky, I'm sorry. I'm just really trying to get this video done. I said I was going to the other day and it never made it, so let me get past semi trucks because we don't want anything dangerous to happen. Okay, we're clear. Okay, so to start the story, basically my mom called me and she was concerned because she had a conversation with my dad. This was a couple weeks ago now, and he was concerned that he was kind of losing his marbles. He said he was seeing people in his apartment. So my mom was like, hey, you know, your daughter does things that are paranormal and she can help you. So he was like, he's a skeptic, old school. I don't even think he really believes in ghosts. A little bit, maybe, but not very religious, and just not completely open to the paranormal world. So my mom called me and said, please call your dad. I'm concerned. He seemed worried. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, what's going on? What are you seeing? So it started off with basically he explained just two parts of it. He explained that he saw a stairwell and two firemen climbing a stairwell with full gear in his kitchen. Well, obviously there isn't a stairwell in his kitchen. He's in a one-bedroom apartment. And the fact that a stairwell manifested, that one kind of made me worry. It was like maybe he is seeing things, you know, like that's not something I'm familiar with. So from there I asked, what else are you seeing? And basically the only other thing he described at that time was that there's a man in his kitchen, and he hangs out basically around the sink area, and he kind of goes back and forth between the stove and the sink, which are straight across from each other. So he kind of sees them back and forth. I was like, all right, you know, anything else? And he's like, well, one day he waved at me. So I waved back and I didn't know what to do. So I told him, you know, maybe he's just trying to make contact with you. I'd be careful in making contact with something that you're unsure of. So he agreed to let me come over and do some cleansing and some protection prayers and some other kind of rituals, I guess you could say, to clear his house. So he did agree, and I went over there, and as soon as I walked in, heavy feeling. I've cleansed quite a few houses now. I cleanse my house quite often because I do dabble into this paranormal world, so I want to make sure that I'm protected, my family's protected, my home is clear and clean and happy. So I felt that heavy feeling before. I felt the drained feeling before. So none of that was too odd. The thing that really struck me was I felt this dull vibration in my body as soon as I walked in. That's something that I have not experienced yet. So I took that as there's probably a lot of spirits in here or in this area. Because the heavy feeling is usually normal. The drained feeling when you're done, once you leave the place, that's pretty normal. But I had never experienced this vibration, so I was worried. You know, I was like, please let me do this. So I just did a brief description on what it was, what I do, what's gonna happen, and he said that was fine. He's open to it, and now I'm really vibrating because this ramp is totally screwed up. Sorry, guys. This one is going to get posted because I'm tired of doing the same video. This is the 6th time, so it's going to go up. I'm sorry if it's not the best quality. I'm just trying to get this out like I said I would. So, back to the story. Once I got there, that was a feeling that I felt. So I told him, okay, let's go through all the details. What are all the things that you've experienced? What are all the things you've seen? So, again, he reiterated the firemen, the stairwell, the man in the kitchen. I said, okay. I was like, are you sick? Like, they look like people? Is it, you know, like a shadow of a person? And basically, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. So from his bedroom through the doorway, you can see the kitchen and the dining room and a very, very small hallway. All this is happening while he's laying in bed, you know, getting ready to go to sleep. So he says, it looks like a person. It's kind of blurry, but it's a person. And I was like, all right, okay, not a big deal. There's something in the road. Pay attention while driving. So I said, what else have you seen? You know, I was like, is that it? Is it just these people? And he's like, no, there's more. And I'm like, all right, you got to let me know everything. Before I start anything, you have to tell me everything. So the other 2 things that he told me, I was concerned about. The first thing was a black mist that he would see at the top of his doorway to his bedroom. And it's a mist that is half in the hallway and half into his bedroom. And it's right at the top left corner. And he says he sees it sometimes and it kind of hangs out there. And it's a mist. He says he can see it move kind of back and forth into the hallway and into his room. But it's always that corner and it always stays right there. And I was like, okay, what else? Next thing was that he sees eyes in his closet while he's laying in bed. Again, bumpy roads in Las Vegas. This is horrible. Anyways, he can see eyes in his closet. So I said, what kind of eyes? What are we talking about here? And he said that it seems like they're kind of glowing like an animal. You know, it's really short. It's set towards the bottom. And it just looks like, say, a cat, you know, like looking through stuff in his closet. I was like, all right, you have some activity here. So I kind of went through exactly what I was going to do. And I don't want to explain it on here because if you're going to start cleansing and doing protections using crystals, anything like that, I strongly suggest you do your own research. You learn on your own. You get all the correct information. The paranormal and spirits can be very dangerous if you do not know what you're doing and you do not know how to protect yourself. So it's extremely important to do your own research. So I'm not going to go through the details on here. I'm not going to feed into that. You need to learn on your own. And I strongly agree with that. I believe Tori strongly agrees with that as well. It's just not something you want to mess with if you are not well versed in what can happen, the consequences, and the things you need to do to protect yourself. So I let him know, I gave him the details. These are the things that I'm going to do. He said, okay, no problem, please do it. So I started the process. You know, I said this, and then I let him know this is what it's going to do. You know, if it's a bad spirit, they should leave. If it's a good spirit, this isn't what I'm doing. If it's a good spirit and it's somebody that's just here, maybe he lived here, maybe he died here, he's gonna stay, you know. So if the man in the kitchen stays, he stays. If you see other things and they're still here after I leave, they're not bad. That would be kind of a different have just gave him a little brief description of this is what's going to happen. If they're bad, they should leave. If you do see something after the fact, I'll follow up with you. We'll see where we're at, see if I need to come back, see if we need to do a different type of ritual, which I'll let you guys know at the end of the story what the outcome was. I don't have an editor. This is all, makeshift DIY. So, finished everything. He said, okay. He really didn't truly kind of believe in it. He gave me kind of a little chuckle, like, okay, yeah, it'll work. I was like, just believe me, Dad. And if anything, it'll make you feel better. It'll help you sleep at night. And that's the most important thing. I wrote down the St. Michael's prayer. I told him at any point if he feels as if he's scared, I told him you're a grown man. I understand you're not scared. But if the situation comes up and you see something and it does, concern you or make you feel a certain way, say this prayer and it will help to ward off and make bad leave. If it's evil, if it's bad, this will help you clear them from you. So, finished everything, told him what to do, and then I left. So, when I left, I was completely drained. I mean, I usually feel drained after cleansing, but it was a lot. It was a lot to the point that I did a cleansing of myself as soon as I left. As soon as I left my dad's apartment, I did a whole cleansing because I wasn't going to make it back to my house with anything. And the reason why is they get attached. They're going to be like, oh, this girl knows what she's doing. Maybe they like me. I don't want any of that in my home because I do things to protect myself and my home. So I did a whole cleansing of myself, actually twice, before I even got back to my house because, those are just some precautions that you need to take when you're dealing with things like this. So I called him a day or two later, and I just wanted to check up on him, see what's going on. Hey, are you still seeing things? Are you still feeling the same way? And he said, actually, everything has left. Everything's gone. I feel good. The man in the kitchen is still there. I said, okay, that's fine. Let the man in the kitchen be. I said, obviously, he's not there to do anything bad. He's the one that waved to him. Maybe he's just trying to make communication. I'm gonna call him here today again and just check, see if anything else has gone on. But so far, the only thing is the man in the kitchen that likes to hang out. What I didn't add to the first original part is I asked him, well, have you approached this man? Like, have you came out of the room to see if this is an actual person? And he said that basically the man walks into the wall and is gone. And I was like, all right, well, Dad, that's a spirit, like I can't help you. Real people don't walk through walls. It's just what it is. And I think that once I explained that to him, he understood a little bit more that's really what's going on. So the ritual works, the prayers, the things I did, like I said, I'm not going to go into details. Do your own research. Always, 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 and protect yourself. Paranormals, spirits, anything like that, entities, you have to know what you're doing. Please do not just go out there and you watched a YouTube video of one of these people doing it and now you just really need to do your own research in order to protect yourself. You don't want any bad entity to attach themselves to you. It can cause so much, it's just bad luck. It could cause your entire mood to be drained. If it's a strong enough spirit, at that point things move and stuff. That's a poltergeist. Now we're moving up another step of a spirit. So you just want to make sure you know what you're doing. So I'm going to call my dad today. We're going to get an update. We're going to figure out, make sure that it's just the man in the kitchen. I'm not concerned about the man in the kitchen. He seems to be friendly. He didn't leave when I did my cleanse, but everything else did. So no black mist, no eyes in the closet. I will say the bathroom and the bedroom were the heaviest. So I definitely do think that there was something kind of lingering in my dad's room. So I'm glad that that is gone. He says he's sleeping better. You know, he doesn't feel like he's crazy. Because really at first, he's older, you know, and he thought that he was seeing things like losing his marbles. And I said, Dad, no, you're not that old. And I think you're going to be fine. So that's my story. That's my ghost story of the cleansing of my dad's house. Probably next video, I'll have talked to him by then, and if anything's changed, I'll let you guys know. But I thought it was very interesting that a stairwell manifested inside of a house. I've never heard of an actual architectural piece manifesting. If somebody else has or knows anything about that, please let me know in the comments, because that's something I would like to know more about. I'm going to do my own research as well. But so far so good. My dad's protected. I gave him everything that he needs. By the time I left, I really do believe that he now is not a skeptic, because there was just too much proof. There was just too much that he couldn't deny. And then especially after I left and the whole feeling of the house has changed, he's a believer now. Whether he wanted to be or not, he is a believer now. So that's my story. I wanted to get it out there, being as I said I would. And we're going to try to do a live chat with Tori. We're having problems. Life's hard. It's hard to get together sometimes, especially with kids and working full-time, being moms, trying to do stuff on the side. So we might get a live chat on the Facebook page, which is Silver State Paranormal Seekers. If you'd like to join, just send an invite, and I can just press the approve button. You guys can see everything on there. Just conversations, you know, what was your first experience, things like that. So that's pretty much the end of my story, and I will update you on my dad's house in the next video. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great week,